Road of the Dead.
My name is Nora Clark. I am 22 years old, and I live with my father and my older sister Sarah on the edge of a small town called Milford, up in northern New York. I lost my mother in a car accident, an icy road, the same road that people call the Road of the Dead, an old winding road that starts behind our house and goes into the woods. My father always said, "Nora, don't even go near it. That road swallows people." But life went on until Damien came into our lives. Sarah met Damien at the coffee shop in town. He had just moved to Milford with his black leather jacket and that smile that never left his face. Sarah was crazy about him, but from the very first moment, I felt something about him, a feeling of danger. At first, Damien was a guest in our house. Everything was normal until one day when I was coming down the stairs, I felt his eyes on me. It was not simple curiosity. Later, the looks turned into touches that seemed accidental. When he handed me a glass of tea, he would keep his hand on mine for a moment too long. Sarah never saw any of it, or maybe she did not want to see. One afternoon, I was home alone. When I heard the door, I thought Sarah had forgotten her key, but it was Damien. "Sarah is not home," I said, and tried to close the door. "I know," he said, and stopped the door with his foot. "I came to talk to you, Nora." I let him in. He walked behind me and said, "You are so alone, you know. Sarah only thinks about herself. You need someone to take care of you." Suddenly, he put his hand on my waist. I jumped back and moved away. I kept backing up, and he kept coming closer until my back was against the wall. He reached out to touch my face. I could not take it anymore. With all my strength, I slapped him hard across the face. He held his face and looked at me with eyes full of anger. In a quiet, dangerous voice, he said, "Good job. You will regret this, Nora. Soon you will regret this." And he left. That night, I told Sarah everything. She did not believe me. She laughed and said, "Nora, you are too sensitive." Not only did she not believe me, but a few days later, she brought Damien home again. Things got worse. Damien was bolder now, and Sarah, she just watched and smiled. One night, Damien took us to a party at his friend Lucas's house, a big house near the Road of the Dead. Loud music, strangers, colorful drinks. Sarah drank glass after glass. Damien was around me all night, but this time his touches were not hidden. In front of everyone, he would run his hand through my hair, grab my waist, and I would tremble. I begged Sarah to go home. With half-closed eyes and a drunk laugh, she said, "What is wrong, Nora? Being sensitive again? Damien is taking care of you." I felt hopeless. I went to Maya, Sarah's friend. She agreed to drive us home. I breathed a sigh of relief. When we got in the car, I looked at the road and my heart sank. Maya was driving toward the Road of the Dead. "Maya, where are you going? This road belongs to the dead." "Relax, little one. It is a shortcut." Suddenly, the car sputtered and stopped. Maya tried to start it a few times. Nothing. "Well, damn, it is dead," Maya said and got out. Inside the car, it was dark and cold. Suddenly, headlights from another car lit us up from behind. It was Damien's car. Damien got out with his cold smile. Two more figures came out of the darkness, Lucas and Vincent. "Help? Okay, we will help," Damien said, coming toward me. "I told you you would regret this, Nora." I was stupid. Maya, Lucas, Vincent, Damien, they were all in it together. A setup. Everything was planned. That night, the road of the dead heard our screams. When it was all over, the white snow was not white anymore. When I looked at Sarah, she was staring into the darkness as if her soul had left her body. They got in their cars and left. They left us alone, right where my mother had died. I sat next to Sarah. I took her hand. It was cold. She turned and looked at me with empty eyes. In a voice that came from the bottom of a well, she said, "It is over, Nora. It is over now." A few minutes later, without saying a word, she got up and fixed her clothes, as if nothing had happened. With complete indifference, she said, "Let's go home. I have to get to class early tomorrow." I could not believe it. "Sarah, do you not care what happened?" She shrugged. "What happened? Something happened. It is over." I put my head on my knees and cried. A cold wind was blowing, and I was alone by the road. Right then, I saw something between the trees. Several pairs of eyes glowing in the darkness, yellow and red, and then they disappeared. I grabbed Sarah's hand. "Sarah, look over there." She turned, but there was nothing. "There is nothing there, Nora. Let's go." But I knew something was there. We started walking toward town. Behind us, there were sounds. Breathing, rustling in the snow, shadows moving between the trees. Near Pine Street, we saw her. An old woman, bent and hunched, in a long black dress that dragged on the ground. Gray skin and eyes, one of them white and dead, as if she had been dead for years and was still walking. Her voice was like the cold winter wind.
"You should not be here."
Sarah, who had shown no reaction until that moment, suddenly burst into tears. The old woman said to me,
"If you want to live, you have to come with me."
Sarah said in a trembling voice, "Let's go with her, Nora. Maybe she can help us." I held her hand tighter. "No!" And I ran, pulling Sarah with me. As we ran, Sarah asked why we ran away. I said, "When she got closer, I saw her foot drag on the ground. A black trail was left behind her in the snow. But the strangest thing was her eye. One eye completely white, like there was no soul behind it. Look back." Sarah turned. The old woman was not an old woman anymore. She was changing right in front of us. Her body straightened until she was 2 meters tall. Her arms grew longer. Nails like scythes came out of her fingers. Her legs became like a goat's with big black hoofs. Her staff turned into a long spear. Her mouth opened to her ears, full of sharp black teeth. Her white eye was blind, but the other eye burned red like fire. Her laughter echoed down the road, a raspy, loud laugh. Sarah and I were frozen.
"Are you following me, girls?"
Her voice came, but her mouth did not move. Sarah grabbed my hand and we ran. Without direction, we just ran. We left the road and went into the forest. We found a gap between the rocks, like a small cave. We squeezed inside and held our breath. A few minutes later, we heard a car, an old Chevrolet with 3 people inside. We ran out of our hiding place and jumped in front of the car. The man behind the wheel got out and yelled, "Are you drunk?" But the woman inside the car screamed, "Jake, get back in, hurry!" She was a young woman with eyes full of fear. The second man stuck his head out the window and looked at Sarah. "Sarah Clark, is that you? I am Tom Wilson. I work with your father. Get in, quick." The young woman opened the back door. "Get in." As we got in, she said, "We just came from that damn road. We saw something there." As the car started moving, they told their story. They had also seen the old woman by the road. They stopped to help her, but she disappeared. They turned back to the car, and a voice came from inside.
Are you looking for me?
And then that laugh. Everyone was talking from fear. Jake, the driver, kept looking in the rearview mirror. Suddenly, Tom said, "Stop, Jake, look ahead." Someone was standing in the middle of the road. Damien. But not the Damien we knew. He was covered in blood, his face bruised and swollen. He raised his hand and said in a weak voice, "Help, help." Sarah wanted to get out, but Jake shouted, "No," and turned the wheel to go around him. I looked back through the window. Damien's hand was still raised, but behind him, in the darkness of the forest, something was standing. Something taller than a human, and it was smiling. Kate grabbed my hand and pulled me inside. "Don't look," she said. We stayed at Tom and Kate's house until morning. Sarah did not speak. She just trembled sometimes and squeezed my hand. In the morning, we heard the news. The bodies of 4 young people were found on the road of the dead. Damien, Lucas, Vincent, and Maya, all dead. Sarah stared at the TV screen. Then she turned to me, and for the first time since that night, her eyes filled with tears. She cried. Months passed. I became friends with Tom, Kate, and Jake. That night had bonded us together. One day, when I was alone with Tom, I asked him what they had seen before they saw us. Tom said, "We saw the same old woman. We stopped to help her, but she was gone. We turned back to the car, and her voice came from inside.
Are you looking for me?
And then she laughed, a laugh that I thought would burst my eardrums. A few minutes later, we saw you two coming out from between the trees. I said, "So you saw her too?" Yeah, but that day I understood that what we saw was not a woman. It is something else. After that, I started doing research. I learned her name is the Mother of the Dead Road, a woman who died on that road 150 years ago, but her spirit never found peace. They say anyone who is alone on that road at night will see her, and anyone who sees her either dies or leaves a piece of their soul with her. That night, it killed something in us, but it could not take us because we were not alone. Now, 20 years have passed since that night. I am 42 years old. Sarah got married in Vermont and has 2 daughters. She comes to Milford every Christmas. She is a mother now, kind now. She carries the memory of that night, but she has learned to live with it. I married Tom Wilson. We have 3 children, Luke, Nathan, and Mila. Mila is 18 years old, and she has my mother's eyes, that same green that turns golden in the sunlight. Today, I am sitting on the back porch of our house, looking at the forest. But I know this. Life is full of wrong choices. We all made wrong choices. But that night taught me that sometimes a wrong choice leads you exactly where you need to be. We are still alive. We are happy. And the Mother of the Dead Road is still there. In the darkness, on the road, waiting for another snowy night. Waiting for someone who is alone. So, if one night your car breaks down on the road of the dead and you see an old woman with a white eye asking for your help, run. Or maybe not. Maybe stay. Maybe that night will bring people into your life who are meant to stay. It all depends on the choice you make. And I chose to survive. I chose to love. I chose to become a mother. Sometimes at night, when it snows, I hear from a distance the sound of a staff being dragged along the road. Tom says it is just the wind, but I know she is still there. The Mother of the Dead Road, still looking for someone who is alone.
I hope you enjoyed the story. Please support us by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Sincerely, we are not alone.